Hi, I'm Julie from Thermo Kitchen, and today we're making honey mustard chicken in the Thermomix. We'll be serving that with some cauliflower rice. For the full recipe, you can go to the Thermo Kitchen website and we'll have all the ingredients and method there also. Okay, so first step, we are at the TM6 and we're just going to press this little home button so we go on to manual cooking. So we can see our 3 dials there for manual cooking. The mix is ready to go. Now we're preparing our spinach. Because we're using baby spinach, all we need to do is pop that in our thermo server, and once the dish is cooked, the heat from the actual dish will be enough to cook the baby spinach. Okay, so there we go. Pop the lid on that and reserve it for later. The next step is to make our cauliflower rice. So we have our varoma here and we have 400 grams of cauliflower florets just in here. Now we want to make those florets just a little bit smaller so that they will rice up nicely in the Thermomix. So we want something to be about this big. Now, if you're not a fan of cauliflower rice, you can always just steam the cauliflower and have the cauliflower with the dish. But I quite like cauliflower rice, so we'll be making it as per the recipe. Okay, so these florets look about right to me. Notice how I've got the varoma lid underneath the varoma dish. Now that just saves a bit of mess on the bench top. Because of these holes here, we would otherwise get cauliflower on our bench top. Okay, so coming over to our Thermomix, I'm going to pop all the 400 grams of cauliflower into the TM bowl. Just like that. So now we're going to tap the first timer and put on 4 seconds, and then tap the blade speed and go to speed 5. And that's how easy it is to make cauliflower rice in the Thermomix. So I'm just going to pour that into there and scrape out the remainder of the cauliflower rice. Pop the TM bowl back. Okay, so whenever you're steaming something in the varoma, we want to make sure that we can see some visible holes, because that's how the steam gets up and actually cooks the contents of the varoma, or in this case, our cauliflower rice. So that looks all right to me. So I'm just going to pop the lid on our cauliflower rice and reserve it for later. Okay, next step, we want to mince our garlic. So we need 10 grams of garlic. So we're just going to scroll over here, pop our scales on and put the garlic in. Looks like I've got 15 grams, but I really like garlic, so I'm happy for that. Put the lid on, X out of the scales and press our house to get back to manual mode. Now I'm going to put on 3 seconds on the timer. And going over to blade speed, we're just going to put that on speed 9 to mince it. Okay, now scraping down the bowl. And we are going to add some ingredients. So first of all, we have our mustards. Here we've got 35 grams of Dijon mustard and 35 grams of seeded mustard. So I'm going to pop that in. Okay, I have already prepared half a teaspoon of turmeric, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder, and a teaspoon of mustard powder. So that is also going in. Now, another important ingredient is our chicken stock powder. powder. Now I really like Maesel's stock powder for this. It's got a really delicious, strong flavour, and it is completely natural. So this is the stock powder that I use in all of my chicken dishes. Now I know some people use the Thermomix chicken stock powder, and that's a chicken stock paste, and that's also fine. And you could use your vegetable stock paste that you make in your Thermomix also. But for chicken recipes, I really do like the Maesel stock powder. Okay, and now we need to add some honey, and I'm going to measure that straight into the Thermomix. So we are going to slide over here for our scales, hit the scales, and just measuring in the 55 grams of honey. There we go. And pop that over to the side. Next we need some cream. So I'm just going to tear that off to 0 and measure it in our cream. So it is pouring cream that we're using. So it's just your regular Dairy Farmers pouring cream, and we want 300 grams. Super, I'm a little bit short, but that's fine. Okay, next step is to add our chicken to the dish. So I just wanted to share a few things with you about chicken and the Thermomix. First of all, I always get asked if you can use chicken breast, and I really don't recommend it. There are a lot of reasons why. First is I do think that chicken thighs have more flavour, especially when they're in a dish with other ingredients. Also, chicken thigh and breast thigh are a very different, chicken thigh and breast meat are a very different muscle. So breast meat, it will actually flake, and it's not very good with the Thermomix blades, whereas the thigh meat stands up to the blades a lot better, stays intact, and it's just much better in the Thermomix. So for flavour and for texture, I really do recommend you use thigh. Now the other thing with using chicken in the Thermomix is because of the blades, you don't want to cut the chicken too small. The size that you would normally cut for frying in a frying pan is way too small when it's being stirred around by those blades. So we really want a piece of chicken about that big. Now that size is not too big either. Because it's thin, it will actually cook in the allotted time. So that's another bit. So you can see that these bits are quite large. So this is the ideal kind of size for chicken thigh fillets when you're using the Thermomix. Okay, so I'm just going to pop these in. So these have actually already been weighed. So put that over to there. Okay, and now we're going to X out of our scales. Hit the home button so we're back on manual mode. And we're going to give this 15 minutes. At 120 degrees. Before we turn that on, we're going to take out our MC and pop our cauliflower rice up on top. So the steam from the chicken and the sauce cooking is going to actually cook our cauliflower rice. Now we want this to be on reverse blade because we've got the chicken in there, we don't want to chop it up. So we're going to go to the gentler setting, which is by tapping the blade in the middle, we get the reverse blade coming up. And then we set that, and we've got it going for 15 minutes. Now, in the meantime, we are going to make our corn flour paste, or our flour paste, which will thicken the sauce at the end of the cook time. Okay, so while that's cooking, we're going to measure out our flour paste. So we are going to scroll over to our scales again, and this can be done while the machine is in progress. We're going to hit the scales. Now I'm going to add a bowl to the top so I can weigh in the mayonnaise. So I'm going to tear that off again. And we need 20 grams of mayonnaise. Okay, now the scales might move a little bit because of the movement in the machine, but it's nothing of significance. So we can just go like that. Now we've got our tablespoon of flour, so we're going to mix the mayonnaise and the flour together. So this is going to thicken up our sauce once the chicken's cooked. Okay, so we've had a lot of steam happening for our cauliflower rice. Now we're just going to remove this and pop it here. I'm not going to lift the lid because we want to keep as much heat in there as possible. That smells delicious. So now we're adding our flour paste and mayonnaise to the dish. Just give that a little bit of a stir around. Okay, lid back on, and we're going to cook that to thicken it. So we'll put our cauliflower rice back on top. And here we're putting 4 minutes on the timer, 100 degrees, and again, blade speed 1 in reverse. Okay, so there we have it, our honey mustard chicken. Now let's just take a look. Okay, so our cauliflower rice, perfect. That looks really, really good. Now you don't want to overdo your cauliflower rice because if it looks too cooked at this stage, it's going to get very mushy. So this is actually perfectly cooked. You can see most of it is a little bit translucent, and then there's the odd bit that is a little less cooked, which is ideal. Okay, and now our honey mustard chicken. Look at that. Very nice. Okay, so we'll add this to our thermoserver of baby spinach. And you can see that's really nice and saucy. The flour paste has thickened that right up. Perfect. Pop that over there. And now just by stirring that through gently, the spinach will start to wilt. And this has been a really simple weeknight meal, and there's not a lot of ingredients. The honey mustard sauce is a lot like your chicken tonight sauce in a jars, but so much better for you because it's made from scratch. I'm just going to pop some of this in here so you can have a look. This is actually my teenager's favourite dish at the moment. There we go. So our honey mustard chicken with cauliflower rice, all ready to go. And like I said, the complete recipe is on my website. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to join me on our Thermo Kitchen Facebook group. Happy cooking!